Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we check out another indie game. This time we're looking at Atom RPG Trudograd. Trudograd is the standalone sequel to Atom RPG, which, in my opinion, is the absolute best spiritual successor to the classic Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 games that's ever come out. Now, when I covered Atom RPG a few years ago on my YouTube channel, it was one of the best received videos I've ever done. So, when I reached out to the developer to cover Trudograd and they accepted, I was very excited. Now, Trudograd is a massive game. In fact, it's probably the same size as the original Atom again, and for an expansion, that's very impressive. In fact, there is so much to explore, this video is probably only going to touch the surface of the game. So, I'm planning on doing a stream where perhaps I will import my original Atom character and we can go through the entire campaign. But, for now, we're going to check out the first part of Trudograd and I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are. Let's check out Atom RPG Trudograd. Trudograd gives us a large amount of control when creating a new character. We can create a new one from scratch. We can use one of the 4 preset characters, which are also excellent in their own right. Or, if you finish the original Atom, you can upload your character from there. We're going to go with a new character build, because I love the character build system and I wanted to show you this. There's a huge amount of control you have when creating your own character, which is rarely found in RPGs. I usually like to have a large amount of agency in crafting the character exactly as I want, and a lot of skills sometimes are preset, but in this game you can change almost anything about your character. Now you do get a bit of a boost in levels, because this game is significantly harder than the original Atom. And here we have characteristics. Anyone who's played Fallout is going to be immediately at home here. It has a similar special system from Fallout. Now, I am going to give you a few tips when creating a character, just from my time playing the game. Never let your personality be below 5. We do a lot of discussions with various people. We are a member of a paramilitary organisation, so we will need to interrogate the locals. There is a lot of talking in this game, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually enjoy that we're not just going in and just shooting everything. There is a bit of detective work you need to do. With that being said, though, you do want to make sure you've got a few combat skills, so attention is going to govern my ability to hit with ranged weapons, so absolutely we're going to want to be focusing on that. A little bit of intellect doesn't hurt either. This is going to help us with crafting items. Here we have our distinctions, and these are basically a origin for us. They'll give us a number of positive perks, but also give us some negative ones as well. Now, we can see there's a few combat-based ones. There are some medical-based ones. There's ones around crafting. My favourite one is the Wacky Woodsman, allowing me to hunt and skin animals, get animal parts, and also it gives me a handy bonus to hunting down animals and doing more damage. So we're also going to go with Trader, because I'm probably going to be doing a fair bit of buying and selling to get the various items that I'm going to need. So we're going to be a bit of an archer, and we've got throwing weapons here. Now, one of the things I love about this game, there isn't a preset archery skill. There's a skill with throwing weapons, and this basically means anything that is a non-traditional firearm. Bows, crossbows, throwing knives, explosives. You can make grenades, you can make smoke bombs. Now, you name it, if it goes boom, if it's something that's not a traditional firearm, you can make it. As long as you've got a nice little bonus in tinkering. Tinkering is going to be really helpful for us, because it's going to let me make all of the deadly items that we're going to be using on our travels. Very nice. We're going to put a few points into melee because we are going to have to do a bit of close-up combat through the game. But I am going to try and focus on ranged combat. So let's go with stealth as well. Now I'm trying to keep my character build very focused. I'm not going to be using... I'm not going to be spreading my skills out because I'd rather be a master of a few items than a jack of all trades. In this game, it's very difficult. Combat's very visceral. You can die very quickly, so you really want to try and focus on one or two combat abilities, and that's all. Now here we have our actual perks, and these are something you want to try and select based on what skills you've selected. Now I don't have any skills in pistols, automatic firearms, rifles and shotguns. It will be a waste of time to put points into these. Survival and tinkering and throwing weapons are probably the three that I want. I'm going to focus mainly in throwing weapons, knives, crossbows. I'm probably not going to be doing timed explosives too much. I may make some grenades. All of these are going to help me. These skills are based on my chance to hit with a crossbow and also the lowering the cost of firing a crossbow. So I may be able to get 2 shots per turn. And trust me, if you've got a heavy crossbow, 2 shots are all you're going to need. I've also got a perk here that will allow me to shoot from a longer distance. Now I'm not going to try and put too many eggs in one basket. Let's get some tinkering skills as well. And these skills will allow me to get extra skill points for every level, and also give me a lower chance to break when I'm crafting, because that is a thing in this game too. If you're crafting, you do have a chance to fail, and that will waste your resources. You want to try and minimize that, and let's go... let's get some more crafting skills and a skill for merchants. That's looking pretty good. So let's round it out with a few survival skills to increase my ability to heal. This is basically going to max the amount of health I get from using healing items, and some resistance skills as well. Oh, I'm out. Run out. Excellent. So our character is now ready to venture into the wasteland. So we find ourselves at Atom HQ, off to a new mission.
Attention, Major. Everything you are about to hear is highly classified. We choose you for this briefing due to your activities in the Central Waste 2 years ago. The information about the asteroid you delivered upon return from Krasnoznamenny greatly agitated the Central Command. Our science teams did not reach a solid conclusion, but all of them agreed that the potential impact of the asteroid would be devastating to all life in the wastes. This is why Central Command organized a special research group with the goals of studying the nature of the problem and finding possible solutions. For the last 1.5 years, the best minds of Atom worked on this problem. Now it seems that, despite the current state of science and technology in the wastes, a solution has been reached. East of the Central Waste and our base of operations, there is a city called Trudograd. Once it was home to a special strategic manufacturing facility, the Inverter Factory, which was ran by a certain Professor Goryachev. As you know, Trudograd survived the war much better than most cities and towns of our motherland. Thus, it is possible that the facility still stands or even operates protected by the city walls. This facility is very important to our cause. Before the war, it was used to manufacture an experimental electromagnetic propulsion device, the RR-1 railgun. According to top-secret documents we uncovered during our research, this invention of Professor Goryachev was able to deliver special polymer-based projectiles straight into Earth's orbit, or even further into outer space at tremendous speeds. If this information can be trusted, this device might just happen to be humanity's sole chance at destroying the asteroid before impact. Your mission is to venture into Trudograd, find Professor Gorachov and scout out the inverter facility for any traces of the RR1 railgun. If the propulsion device will be found, we will take it from there, securing entry and spotting it to HQ for further study and usage against the asteroid maze. Good luck, Major, and let there be Atom.
You're sitting in a small clearing in front of a blazing campfire. The autumn forest surrounds you, and it creaks peacefully in the dead of night. The air hangs heavy with the promise of snow and the beginning of winter. The fire crackles softly with the branches that you feed it, enchanted by the darting, dancing flames. Crackling wood and the hiss of boiling sap are the only sounds in your tiny campsite. With a sigh, you stretch your back and gaze over at your surprised guest. He's a short fellow, hunchbacked and raggedly dressed. He emerged from the tall trees about an hour ago and asked if he could warm his bones by the fire. Surprisingly, you disregarded your hard-earned knowledge of the wastes and agreed. Now, he's sitting on the opposite side of the fire, his face hidden in the shadows of a hood. His silence is unnerving. You begin to regret allowing the stranger into your camp. Maybe saying something would help ease the tension?
So here we get to do some further customization on how we want our adventure to play out. Knowing the outcome of the original Atom will allow you to answer some of these questions, but if you're new to the game, you can just answer whichever way you want. It just means that you can have some additional characters from the original game and also some locations as well. So it's more about more of an Easter egg for the people that finished the original Atom game. But let's see if we can.
The stranger raises his head and looks at you through the flames. At least, it feels as if he's looking at you. His face is still obscured by shadows. No, thank you. I'm not hungry, he says in a calm and surprisingly soothing voice. A moment later, he asks, "Did you come here from far away?"
So I thought we'll try and be nice and see if we can share our food with this stranger. Life sends me to places far and wide. I mean, that's not a lie, knowing where we've been.
As it does to us all. The man is quiet again, but then throws a dry stick into the flames. Sparks fly up like a cloud of fireflies into the cold heavens as he asks, "Did you hear what happened in Krasnoznameny? It's a city to the west of here." You feel a strange urge to tell him the truth. Who knows why? Perhaps telling someone about your adventures will make them more real. Maybe even grant them some kind of meaning.
Now here is, as I said, if you played the original game, you can actually tell him the truth. Or you can just take a stab at it. I know, for example, thanks to my actions in the original game, Atom now has control of the city of I can't pronounce it. Krasnomenevsky.
Good old Adam. Guess those army boys got tired of riding in the backseat. Stranger adjusts his hood and sinks down into his tattered clothing. Say, you know what happened to that old bruiser Dan? Leader of the factory gang?
Now, as far as I know, Dan did actually die in the original game.
Sad to hear that. Seems like the fate of Trudograd, that sweet little village's seal. The man shivers slightly. Silence reigns again for a while until a wolf's howl in the distance causes you to look around frantically. Danger lurks in every corner of the wastes, and it pays to be cautious. Why, then, did you so calmly choose to share your campfire with this odd fellow, a man you know nothing about? As if on cue, the stranger speaks again. And what happened in the trading hub? Paragon, do you know?
Now, I believe, and again, it depends on your actions in the original game. So, depending on what quest you do, some of these locations will be destroyed, and some of them will prosper. Paragon is going well.
Glad to hear not all is lost in that corner of the wastes. The man stretches his arms up as if to pluck a low-hanging star. Tell me, who did you share your travels with back then? I know it's kind of a personal question, but indulge me, please.
I actually I actually was with Alexander in the original game. I did meet Hexagon and Fidel, but Alexander was the one that I spent a fair bit of time in the original game with.
The worm guy, huh? Is that everyone?
I did travel with Fidel.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyone else? The man nods and again gazes down into the fire. You take a drink from your water flask and hold it out to share. He shakes his head no. 5 hard minutes of silence follow until you've had your fill of waiting and guessing. You lean forward, focus exactly on the darkness within the man's cowl, and in a stern voice, ask.
Here's where it's going to jump off.
Over the years, people have given me many different names, your guest states without emotion. But isn't it true that names, like other words, have no intrinsic meaning? Words are senseless, unless living people recall them and give them purpose. Thus, when we meet again, I will once more become nameless.
Now, I know that getting my gun out is definitely not going to make any difference.
Of its own accord, your companion's hood slides limply away. But its absence reveals not a human head, but a glowing, undulating sphere of crimson fire. A deadly star. You yelp aloud, for a moment willing yourself to run, but already the night has vanished, dissolved in the haunting red glow. Never again shall you be able to hide from the invisible gaze of your nightmarish guest. That gaze is cruel and indifferent, and the lands it oversees are barren, burnt down to nothing but ashes and splinters of stone. You are so entranced by the endless landscape of utter obliteration that at first you do not notice how your own body has started burning. You are ablaze on the inside, like a bunch of cinders twisted into human form. And the wild, frigid winds scatter your ashes across the surface of the dead earth.
Quite an opening, if I do say so myself. And so, after that terrible nightmare, our adventures in the city of Trudograd begins. The game begins with us getting a message from HQ. You take out the portable radio you were given back at base, don the earpiece and turn the dial. Sounds like HQ trying to confirm you made it to the city. Come in. Can you hear me? I hear you loud and clear. Over. This is Vasily, the communication specialist. This is communication specialist Vasily. 2104. Do you hear me? Over. Loud and clear. Hey there, we lost contact. How's it going? Are you in Trudograd? Yes, I am. I stopped at an inn on the outskirts of the city and slept. The radio produces another storm of white noise. Not gonna lie, I couldn't make out any of that. I hope you're doing good, just don't get into any trouble. Everyone on the base is rooting for you. As you know, we confiscated all of Mycelium's archives when our boys took Krasnodemsky. According to their data, the meteorite, asteroid, let's just call it the Hesperus star. According to their documents, this thing is on a collision course with Earth. Therefore, your mission is extremely important. Do I need to remind you of your objectives? No, you don't. Well, don't forget them later on. Check your portable computer regularly. There's a digital journal on there and a lot of personal information about you as well, in case you need to be reminded of your identity or past. Now that's very important because there are certain enemies in the game and certain events that can affect your memory. Let me finish briefing this goof and then we'll take a smoke break. Oh, you're still there. I need to repair this hunk of radio. Remember you have amber level clearance, and as you can always contact us yourself. Good luck. Over and out. So we begin in our room. We're going to gather our kit, starting with our duffel bag, armor, and being a very good Adam agent, this guy stowed his gear but slept with his knife. Always make sure you stay strapped in the wasteland. We do have to lockpick the closet with our goodies. Okay, so we're going to get out of here. We're going to need the key. Beautiful. Now, the cleaning lady is, for some reason, carrying a lot of useful stuff that we want to get for ourselves. So, in the meantime, we're going to have a chat with our friend here, one of the other residents of the hotel, who, how can I say this, is a vendor of horizontal refreshment. Dandelion. Depends on what you call fun. Well, there you go. Dandelion is what they call me. Would you like my beauties to keep you company while you're in Trudograd? No, I think there's enough diseases in Trudograd without adding to the list. Let's talk business. To our hotel guests, I offer my two finest employees, Rose and Violet. They're great girls, very customer-oriented. Violet charges 300. Okay, yeah, let's say no. I am going to talk about employment opportunities. You've come to the right place. Don't worry, the task at hand is unconnected to my main area of work, so are you interested? Yes, I am. This clown, Valerian Tupolov, owes me 500. Make that 700 including interest rubles. That's a lot of moolah. He was supposed to pay me back today, but unsurprisingly he disappeared. I'm starting to get a little concerned. You're only concerned because you need some money. His wife might know where he is. Her address is 9 Kotelushkin Street. All of my usual enforcers are busy right now. That's why I'm outsourcing this project to an expert freelancer. Don't blush. I can tell you're a seasoned adventurer. Okay? What can you tell me about him? He's your average Trudogradian knuckle-dragger. Back when famine stalked the streets, the city organised food runs, the so-called expeditions. Valerian used to go out with the crew. That's why the city pays him a pension. He survives on government handouts and the money he stole during his years on the job. What else should I know? It's coming back to me now. Curious coincidence. Some rough cats were passing through a while ago. One of my girls mentioned they were asking about Valerian. I didn't think much about it, figured they must be friends, but maybe it's not that simple. According to her, they had a northern accent but still polite. It's a rarity in this day and age. In any case, the only lead we have is Tupolov's wife. Oh, come on, really? Her name is Ruta? So in Australia, if somebody is asking for a route, let's just say it is, related to his field of expertise. Okay, I guess we'll do it. There's a rumour in certain circles that the owner of this hotel is into some shady stuff. I try not to think about it too much. After all, who isn't involved in shady dealings these days? Okay. I don't think we need to know anything else. Let me tell you, this world is a cold and hostile place, and the amount of metaphorical firewood needed to keep everyone safe is warm and limited. Trudograd has the biggest bonfire in the region, keeps the Trudogradians happy, but keep in mind everyone loves a bonfire, especially those who got the short end of the stick. People quickly get accustomed to the easy living here. They tend to forget how they used to fight over things like food and water, take things by force from everyone weaker, and you start to get a bit too comfortable. You might end up in a ditch trying to breathe through a brand new slit in your neck. I mean, the guy might be a scumbag, but he's not wrong. Now, the cleaning lady has some very nice gear. We don't have a lot of time here, so I'm just going to take what I can. Sorry, lady, it's the end of the world. Just going to take what I can. She hasn't noticed me yet. Cleaning lady with shotgun shells. Very nice, very nice. She has a very nice selection of items. Most importantly, a field uniform. So I'm assuming her or her husband served in the military at some point. So we're definitely going to pop that on. Let's put on the Ushanka and field uniform. Wherever it is. There it is. Yes. There we go. So we get a bonus to our survival skill and some cold resistance, which in a city full of ice... what are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. How did those items go missing? I'm a good guy, but I'm not that good. A well-dressed man in his late 30s leans on the counter and looks at you from head to toe. Doesn't seem like a threat. How can I be of service? What doesn't seem like a threat? He hesitates before answering. I'm waiting to meet a lady of easy virtue. Just go 3 doors up, mate. It's not going to do me any good if such a woman happens along and I'm sitting right next to a handsome hunk. I've been studying you to determine if we're on the same level when it comes to the delicate art craft of seduction. And what's your conclusion? More or less equal. We're like 2 lieutenants on the... We're far from being generals, but at least we have a chance. I've been here longer than you. So the first victim is my... Man, you're going to catch a case, buddy. That's all I'm going to say. How are you getting on? Imagine my surprise. He's not going too well. You just walk up to Wib and, hey, would you like to be a victim? I won't give up. I've got nothing better to do anyway. Tell me about this delicate craft of seduction. I feel like I'm going to go to jail just for listening to this conversation. Seducing a woman is like hunting... Except for the killing... Oh, well, that's better. At least he's not killing and gutting them. You see a chick alone with her friends drinking port or compote, casting appraising looks around the room. You approach her oozing confidence and charm. Start with something funny or mysterious, like bet I can guess your name. Offer a drink, chat her up, make her laugh and admire you. If you do it right, she'll agree to relocate to your room. I mean, I guess... I'm telling you that's how it is. You got nothing better to do? Can you believe it? I really don't. Someone I trust manages our finances and I travel. Stupid Astrakhan is no good anyway. Okay. What's wrong? Now, because I have a couple of charisma points, I can actually engage in some conversation. You can see why in the character creation I added some points into speech. It's very handy when you're having these sort of conversations. Obviously, this conversation isn't very productive, but the girls know me out that way, and they don't stand a chance, except for the chance of some carnal delight for a night or two, of course. Women willing to have sex with the prospect of a relationship are a rare species back home. Without the prospect. Jeez, I wonder why. It's the apocalypse, man. Have you got nothing better to do? Not doing as much. Where do we stop? I don't think this guy's got anything interesting to tell me. The only interesting thing I can think of is this. If you're unable to pass up a nice-looking chick, keep yourself in check. If you take your own advice, buddy. If you find yourself in the local port, the hot mermaid statue there is cursed. It makes scary sounds as you walk past. I mean, what is this guy's name? I just want to... I'm just curious now. If you hear some woman refer to me by a cruel nickname, just ignore her. Okay, let's, It's the end of the world, buddy. Surely you've got better things to do. A thin, grim-looking man, wearing a doctor's hat, wanders a small kitchen. He holds a small metal spatula aloft with such grace you would think it was a scepter. I don't have time for chit-chat. Okay. You won't even answer a few questions? Not even one. Can't you see I'm busy? The cook lifts the lid from one of the pots and the kitchen is immediately filled with mouth-watering yet unusual aromas. You recognize the sense of beans, car batteries, sawdust, sauerkraut, and existential dread. All of this reminds you of the Atom Mess Hall. I must constantly salt the soup, add vinegar, and keep it well stirred, and your very presence is keeping me from my duties. Okay? You won't leave me alone until I do. Look at my hat. I'm a cook, not a doctor. Subican the cook. Nice to meet you. What a delightful man. Let's have a chat to the hotel owner. You approached the innkeeper at the bar. You were too tired to talk much yesterday, but now you're well rested. Why not? How did you sleep? Hope the bed bugs didn't bite. They did. The man's smile turns into a rictus as he flails his arms in the air and shakes his head. 1,000 apologies. I'll get someone to change your sheets this instant. Oh, how embarrassing. I thought I'd gotten rid of those pesky things. You don't need to worry about bed bugs anymore, I swear, but I wanted to warn you about something. After you went to sleep the other day, a man inquired about you. What did he ask? Nothing special. Wanted to know whether I knew you from someplace else. I told him it was your first time visiting our establishment and maybe the city itself. I'm guessing he was intrigued by your stature and your gear. Seasoned adventurers are rare in these parts. Okay. Where is this guy? I've seen him a couple of times in the outskirts, but he doesn't come here often. Was he spying on me? He was sitting at a table when you came in yesterday. Sneaky little fellow. Told me to call him Pencil. I don't believe that was his real name. Okay. I heard you were up to no good. That true? Who told you that? I mean, this guy, very, very reliable source. That's all I'm going to say. Please, you need to place a little less trust in horizontal refreshment vendors and more in your common sense. The only sin I've ever committed is in stealing apples from my neighbours when I was a boy. The owner chuckles nervously. The harder the times, the crazier the rumours. Don't pay them any mind. You mentioned souvenirs. I'm so glad you asked. I sell these medallions with an engraving of the city skyline. They're a tangible way of showing how Trudograd is the capital of City of the Waste. I only have a few left right now, but another batch will be ready soon. Do they sell? Actually, do you make these yourself? No, I buy them from local craftsmen around the city. There are numerous villages with handymen. I make the orders to support the local professionals. Oh, here we go. So you can see my attention skill. The innkeeper's tale is peppered with oddly timed pauses. But that's not the whole story, is it? No, you got me. I'm guilty. I buy the medallions at a very low price, but if I didn't chisel the villagers a little, I couldn't turn a profit and there'd be no orders. So the system benefits everyone. Do they sell? Like pancakes, friend, Trudograd is famously civilized. Everyone wants a keepsake to take home with them. Okay, well, I guess let's check what he's got. Well, he does have some questionable cigarettes, which I'm guessing are not made from tobacco. We may come back for some later. Sorry, but could you stay a while and listen? Okay. It's not the first time. I lost my manuscript, a surrealist novel. Yes, I'm a writer. It's sad, I know. Please don't go out of your way, but if you happen to stumble upon it, I'd be very grateful if you could return it to me. I'd reward you too. Okay. So we've got one more person to talk to, and I want to show you this game's in-universe card game called Bomber Gun. Now here is something that I missed the first time I played this area of the game. This unassuming old man here can teach us the in-universe card game Bomber Gun. Now, in addition to the game actually being a lot of fun to play, the game and the card deck that he gives you can actually be used to play against a number of other people throughout Trudograd, unlocking additional dialogue options and prizes that you can win. And this is even more rewarding if you take the gambling perk. You can make a ton of money. Now this man is he's very passionate about the bomber gun game, and he will give us a set of bomber gun cards as a present. All we have to do is play around against him and he'll teach us the game. So basically we have a number of different stats which he explains in this tutorial, as well as some cards to play. So there is a bit of randomness in the game. You can get a bad hand, but knowing the different cards and when to play them is critical to being able to learn to play this game. We have health points, which cannot be replenished, so you need to keep an eye on these. Armor points, which we can get by playing certain cards. Action points, which we get each turn, which are replenished. Food, which we can again get through different cards, as well as housing. Now these two resources are used to kick off several special cards that can give us some really nice perks, but our enemy can steal our resources. We've got a dugout, which gives us some housing points. Kiosk, giving us some food. Trench, which will buff our defense. Direct attack cards, such as this. And we've got some special cards here that are very high risk, high reward cards that you can play at the right time to completely turn the game in your favour. They are risky though. This one in particular will do damage both to your city and the enemy city. So here we have the end of the tutorial. We're going to play our first game against the old man, and let me tell you, he's no slouch. I have a rather low gambling skill, so if I am going to win this, it's probably going to have to be the hard way. So in the first turn, we only have one action point, so I don't have a lot of choice here. I can only play one card, which is the dugout. He does the same. Now, every round we get one additional action point, but the cards also start taking more points to use. So he's probably going to do an attack. So the next thing would be to beef up my defenses. As you can see, he did an attack upon me. I soaked it up with my defenses. And we're kind of even. So now what I do in the next few turns is going to determine who wins. So I am going to... And I'd like to get some extra points here, but I think he's going to hit me. I think I'm going to get more defenses up in here. I'm holding out for when we get some more valuable cards. He's got some resources now. I've got a ton of defenses, so it's time to start shoring up my own defense. So let's play a canteen and another canteen. There's not a lot else I can do right now. Ouch. So he shredded me in that round. Took out all my armor and stole some of my resources. This is not good. Now, unfortunately, I've got a really bad hand. I'm just getting all these defensive cards. I have no way of attacking him right now. Not great. So let's again, we're going to bust out some more defenses. There's really not a lot I can do right now. I just have to wait this out. Build some dugouts. Hope for the best. Ouch. We're just getting bad hands. There's nothing we can do because let's go for a canteen, which will... I need housing, one housing point to kick this off, so let's do a canteen and a spider attack. There we go. I've got 2 housing points left, so let's another canteen. No? Oh, I've got 1. Okay, that's fine. Kiosk. Okay, he's busting out some defenses. Good play. Makes sense. Okay, again, we can do a gang leader. We need 2 food for that. So if I play this, and then this. That's hit him, his armor, and I've got 3 points left. Canteen. And another canteen. Can I not do... I've got 1 action point. Oh, okay, I can't. It's going to have to do. I don't think I can win this. He's wrecking me. He's got better cards. Unfortunately. Okay, we need 6 action points for that. And food that I don't have, so... I can do this. And I can do this. And... this. And this. Now he's pretty hurt. He's probably going to shift into defense. I need to do 7 points of damage, and I don't think I can do that. I think he may have me here. Turnip Remembrance Day. It's going to take 3, but, I mean, I need it. It is one of those high-risk, high-reward cards, so we just got to play it. I need the defense to survive. Now, I need... That's going to do 6 damage. Actually, that's going to nearly kill him if I can pull that off. I can. Or I can do 5 and 2. Yeah, no, this is the way to go. Boomski, look at that. If I can do 1 point of damage, he's done. He's done. Okay, so I need 3 housing. I can do that. Nibbler. Boom! Victory! Nice. Very nice. So that's how you play Bomber Gun. You have to look at their health, and you have to switch between offense and defense. This is the easiest in the game, the easiest opponent. But it's a surprisingly fun game. I have played a few rounds against other people, but you definitely want to have some points in gambling to have any chance against the more skilled players, because it does affect what cards you'll get. Okay, so before you is a finely dressed fur hat wearing man. Let's see what your name is. Fedotov takes his hat off and immediately puts it back on. I'm in charge of the bathhouse. Okay. Give it to me straight. What's wrong? There are rats infesting the room? Well, we do have a minor rat infestation, so the steam bath won't be available until someone kills them all. Are you suggesting I undertake this extermination? Me? No, never. But if you do, that would be marvellous. Okay. Of course I would. What would you give me in return? I don't have much in the way of rubles, but I can give you a free steam bath with all the trimmings. Okay. They sure are as titillating as all get out. When you don't have the cash for meds, for quacks and meds, a visit to the sauna might heal your wounds and diseases just as well. Well, you should have started with that. Free healing. Absolutely. So unfortunately, as with Fallout, when he says they have a rat problem, these are not ordinary rats, as you can see. But then again, I have a very, very big crossbow, so let's introduce them to that. I'm going to retreat though. And reload. Okay, so I haven't aggroed the second rat. What I can do... if I move a little bit, get angle on him, I can take him out. Oh, no. That's okay. Let's reload. Luckily I did bring some toys with me. So unfortunately I did take a little bit of damage, but not a big deal because of our hunting skill. We can appropriate everything we need from these rats. Let's grab all these goodies here. And I won't be able to cook a lot of this meat safely without the correct precautions, but at the very least I can sell it to the local vendors and maybe exchange it for more edible food. Okay, I think, yeah, that's everything. So we'll go back and chat to the vendor, and then he will give us our free bath. Anything of interest, you know? A lad passed by the inn a couple of weeks ago, glancing at everything as if for the first time. So I asked him what cave he crawled out of, and he told me he came from paradise. Interesting. I wonder what kind of paradise it was. Some sort of pre-war bunker. There's plenty of those hidden around the city. Interesting. Okay. Well, I think that's all he can tell us for now. I'm just going to raid the surrounding area for goodies. All good stuff. We can take all this back to the hotel. And more importantly, if you get the right selection of goods, you can actually build your own bits and bobs. More importantly for me, crossbow bolts. Toilet paper, we always know that we need as much of that as we can get our hands on. Grab the logs. Now this stuff's pretty heavy, so I'm going to use this place as a bit of storage and put all the stuff that's not non-essential in here. We'll sell some of this stuff later. Cognac, that could be sold or used later on. Alcohol's very useful. We'll hang on to this stuff. You never know when you need some grenades. There we go. Beautiful. So let's head out to talk to our next quest, which is the local magician. The mysterious great-haired man is skillfully juggling an entire deck of cards in the air. The trick is so beautifully executed it leaves you stunned. As you come closer, the man shoots you a piercing look, assembles his cards into a deck, and then without looking at them, draws 4 of them. He shows you they're all 10s and pats his pocket. The mute trickster is telling you he'll show you a trick for 40 rubles. Okay. With an enigmatic smile, the magician shuffles the deck and invites you to pick a card. You draw a 9 of spades. As you return the deck, he closes his eyes, opens his mouth, and swallows your card whole. The street artist shows you his empty hands, stands on one leg, and gestures you to check your pockets. By the 9 hells, with a feeling of respect, you find a card. You take the card with a lopsided grin and you see it's the 9 of spades. That is impressive. Okay, he's just going to want more money off me. As impressive as it is, the person that we are wanting to talk to is this gentleman here, who is also a magician, and he wants us to talk to Amadeus Talarov and find the signature trick, the infant regalia. Talarov is a weird guy. You're only allowed to watch him perform this trick once. That's his rule. I saw it myself and didn't quite get the last part, but maybe you can. I'll give you 100 rubles, and that's how much it costs to see the trick. Okay. Well, it's not going to cost me anything. Now, I don't have a very high gambling skill, so most of these card games are all governed by gambling, so...
The man takes your money, and with a smile rubs his hands together, as if anticipating your reaction to his magnificent trick. He takes off his coat to reveal a thin white shirt, probably to show you that he has nothing hidden up his sleeves. He passes you the coat, and you tuck it under your left arm. Then the magician shows you a sealed deck of cards, and points at your forehead, as if asking you to imagine a card. Any card. The card you imagine is an ace of spades. Amadeus then takes 2 more decks from his pants pocket, opens all 3, mixes all the cards together, and starts shuffling them in the most entertaining and skillful of ways.
So again, I have very low gambling skill.
No matter how hard you focus, the entertainer's motions are too quick to follow. Perhaps Telerov's masterful trick can only be understood by another professional magician.
Let's ask him to slow down.
The magician laughs at your words, all the while shuttling the cards from hand to hand in a blur. With inhuman dexterity, he throws the cards into the air and catches them one by one, or drops them in a cascade into a hand behind his back. He spits cards from his mouth, pulls them from his pants, from behind your ears, from your boots, and even from your nostrils. In the midst of this card storm, a loud cackling sounds from somewhere above. A huge raven flies down from the cloudy sky, clutching yet another card in his black beak. With a raucous caw, the bird spits it out, and it falls directly into the magician's outstretched palm. He smugly displays the card, and it's an ace of diamonds. Unfortunately, not the card you imagined.
Let's see. I think he's got some more. He's got some more to show me.
The seemingly devastated magician stares sheepishly down at his feet, hides the ace of diamonds, and gestures for you to return his coat. You try to do just that, but the very blood freezes in your veins as you realize you no longer are holding the man's coat. Instead, there's a pile of loose cards pinned under your arm. As you raise your hands in amazement, they all drop to the ground, face up. Every card in that pile is an ace of spades.
Okay, let's not tip our own hand.
You try to speak, but instead choke and cough up an ace of spades, which somehow got into your mouth. You give a shudder and a huge stack of cards atop your head drops with a flutter at your feet. Of course, all of these cards is an ace of spades too. You indistinctly jump back as the cards burst into flames for no reason whatsoever. The flames die as quickly as they flared up, leaving nothing but ashes. Shocked to your core, you look frightfully up at the magician, only to notice that he's wearing his coat, as if he had never taken it off in the first place.
Okay, that is impressive. I'll give him that.
Amadeus Telerov shrugs his shoulders, as if there's no answer to your question, but his sly eyes are shining like gemstones in the reddish light of the morning star.
You got me there, mate. I have no idea how you pulled that off. Something tells me if he turned his abilities to something other than street tricks, he could be quite dangerous. Rubbing his hands and licking his lips, Arthur Penkin continues to stare at the magician. He nods at you without taking his eyes off the show. I watched him perform the trick, but I couldn't figure it out. I've heard the same answer from 20 other people I hired, just like you, squandering the last kopecks. What the hell is this about the trick? Why is it impossible to crack? I'm going to ask him myself. I'm sick of waiting. If he's willing to explain it to me, if not, so be it. Well, I wish you luck, my friend. I have no idea. The man is clearly skilled. Okay, I can actually make some meat. Let's cook some meat. Okay, we roasted some of the meat. Unfortunately, it did actually make me a bit sick. Who would have thought eating rat meat would make you crook? A black man in Tubek take a cap, raises a hand in greeting, but does not turn from the blazing fire before him. Salam, friend, would you like some goat's cheese? No thanks, I'm not hungry. But if you were hungry, would you be able to say no to goat legs, stuffed with garlic and roasted with all manner of herbs? And the smell, doesn't it make you drool just thinking of it? Well, yeah, I mean, it's making me hungry. Oh, I agree, that would be lovely. I don't have any, though, not anymore. Why did you want something, or did you just stop by to warm up? Why did you ask about the goat cheese? I always talk about goats when I no longer have a herd. Perhaps it's force of habit. Since childhood, I haven't talked about anything else. What happened to your herd? Your counterpart shakes his head. All of my goats were taken away by the Cleft Hoof Mafia, a cartel of shadow shepherds. I hate to think about it. This is like the goat Illuminati. So, what are you doing in the outskirts? I've lost my herd. I've been trying every way I can to restore it. That's what brought me to Trudograd. Tell me what you're looking for, and more importantly, how can I help? I heard that somewhere in the city you can find the seeds of a mysterious plant called boromets. This is a bush upon... Oh, come on, which tiny baby goats grow instead of fruit. What is it with the people in this city? Is there something in the water? Don't tell me you seriously believe this mumbo-jumbo. I understand it sounds weird, but I'm desperate. My sole talent is shepherding, but what is a good shepherd without his herd? Go and look for boromets. I would, but the gate guards demand too much money. You won't believe it, they actually asked me for 100 rubles. Where can an honest person get that kind of funds? Nowhere. And I wouldn't pay them even if I had that sum. Walking should be free for all. Oh, if I find this boromets, I will let you know. Okay, so we're now going to head into the marketplace and see what I can get in the way of supplies before we head into the centre of Trudograd. Trudograd's outskirts doesn't have the high-tech military gear that we'll need for later in the game, but we are going to need some basic items, food, medicine, and hopefully some components to craft some more crossbow bolts. Now, unless you're very well strapped, you're going to need to make your own gear, so we can get some of that by talking to the locals or figuring out the best vendors to talk to and getting some discounts. I wanted to get to know the local residents. I'm a northern girl. When my husband worked for Guangzhou Caravans, his millennium-old entrepreneurial dignitary truck broke down at my village near the faraway city of Omsk. That's how we met. By the time the truck was fixed, me and Demian had fallen in love, left everything behind, and I went with him to Trudograd. Millennium-old entrepreneurial dignitary, that's oddly specific. It's a cultural thing. Guangzhou Caravaneers have a specific title representing their rank and experience. From lowest to highest they go. Peon, notable, artisan, wise scrivener of invoices, okay, and so forth and so forth. The blonde starts counting on her fingers. Wow, okay, that is a massive list of titles. I don't know how that's going to help me, but I heard the rich topside residents use special lifts for themselves so they don't have to walk on the same stairs as the plebs, as they call us. What do you know about Trudograd? Even living by the wall like we do, we're still safer and drier than anywhere else, especially during flood season. In my home village, me, my mum and grandpa always lived in terror of a bandit raid. But here I can finally be at peace, during the day at least. Okay, well, good luck to you. I don't think you have anything useful that can help me right now, but we're going to check out the other houses. Unfortunately, Atom doesn't pay us very well, and we're going to need to get some supplies, and thankfully most of these houses are empty. Here's a local quack. You notice a small hunchback lady of about 60 at the same time she's noticing you, her uninvited guest. The longer her gaze travels over you, the more disappointed she looks. The dry and withered one appears before the amazing Zakira. Behold, people of the world, look upon this withered chunk of dry biscuit, if you can bear it. How ugly, weak and stupefyingly stupid he is. But fear not, Mr. Biscuit, I will heal you, and I will heal myself. From what, you ask? From the trauma of resting my tender eyes upon your dumb face. Yeah, I've got zero patience for you. Shut up, or I'll ignore your advanced age long enough to kick your ass. Oh, look how the dry biscuit rises. Here I thought he was mouldy and dry, but he is true and honest pie. Boys and girls, such a big healthy pie would never hurt an old defenseless lady. Right, my sweetie pie? Ooh. Depends on your inventory. Show me what you have. Well, okay, it explains why she's so strange. That, I certainly would not be purchasing any of that. Definitely not. Absolutely do not need any of these particular items. We're here focused solely on critical stuff. So there we go. Let's just get what we need. We're here for medicinal items only. Ah, here we go. Some water bottles. Now, the rule of thumb when you're looking through the different items you want to sell is to have a look at your crafting table, and here you can tell which items you can make. Now, obviously for me, there's not a lot here that I'm interested in apart from these bolts. So I know for a fact I need wood, I need a empty bottle, and I need a tin can. So if I find any of those, I know not to sell them. Everything else, fair game. And later on, as we explore Trudograd, we'll get additional items, additional crafting recipes that we can use. There's our food. Beautiful. So I don't, thankfully I will not need to buy food from the local market. We will take all of this. All just good stuff we can steal. Ah, here we go. Empty tin. So now we've got enough to craft ourselves some bolts, but what I'm going to do is go to the local vendor, and I'm going to just sell off the items I don't need. So I don't need another Ushanka. Don't need bandanas. Got 2 tons of these bandanas. Spoons. Oop, got to keep the valuable stuff. Let's make sure that beer as well. Oh. I don't think I'm going to need prophylactics. Let's get rid of those as well. Beautiful. So what we're doing, we're just going to clean out the local vendors. Most of these guys, unless they have a scrap that I can use, we're just going to clean them out, and I can sell that to someone for a bit more money. I think that's about everything I need. This guy's a scrap dealer, I think. Okay, yeah, this guy will sell scrap? No? Okay. That's okay. That's a fish dealer. Ah, here we go. He's a scrap dealer. So what I can do is have a chat to him and barter. And now he'll sell me stuff even cheaper. So we'll sell him that, and I think everything else I kind of need. Yeah. Okay. So we've got some food and water. Next thing I'm going to do is have a chat to this guy here. The grey-haired but still hearty fellow in his 50s is staring angrily at the parking lot guard, who looks nonplussed. Turning to you, he tiredly pinches the bridge of his nose. I can't believe what I'm seeing. The enemy of justice wants to stand in the way of a man getting even with his son's murderer. Your son was killed. You should go to the police. The man spits on the ground in disgust. The moneybags has the police in his hip pocket. Justice will turn a blind eye to anything if you flash a bundle of rubles. even murdering children. Who are you talking about? See that expensively dressed creep standing near the large truck with the bodyguard? That's Ganiev the merchant. A month ago, on his way to deliver goods to the city, he crossed paths with my son Vitya. The boy was walking along the road to pick berries by the swamp. Ran him over, did he? He did. It was a straight stretch of road, but that piece of jerked the wheel at the right moment. I've got to be careful with YouTube. I keep seeing his body flying through the air and rolling over and over after he hit the ground. He killed my son for no reason at all, the beast. He knew he would go scot-free in this city of corruption. I see. What are you going to do now? The man lapses into silence and glances suspiciously at the parking guard. I have a couple of ideas, but let's discuss them at my room. I don't want to talk in front of this lickspittle. Okay, I mean, this is all good, well and good, but I think we need the whole story here. The robust guy pacing the length of the parking lot stops to greet you. He seems eager to talk. Hello, what can I do for you? You guard this parking lot, am I right? I'm a parking lot guard. The city and the merchants pay me to keep the cars safe. My name's Ustin Ivanov. Most people call me Guard Ivanov. After the war, swamps covered most of the area around Trudograd. It's not so noticeable right now, but in spring there's serious flooding problems. Otherwise, there's nothing special about it. Mutants, gangsters, all kinds of psychopaths. The classic mix. Okay, so he's a guard. He doesn't seem like a bad dude. I am going to have a bit of a look around, see what I can... Oh, hello. I believe these bottles here are a item that we need to craft bolts. So I'm taking all this. This guy's he's a bit of an alcohol, this guy. He's a bit of an alcoholic. That's a lot of empty bottles. But I'm going to take all of this. Even if we can't use them now, I can probably sell them. And I definitely want that coffee. Very useful. Very nice. Okay, now we can help this guy with the car. A clearly annoyed man in his 30s is trying to pick up the rusty, badly scratched door on the driver's door of an old car. Noticing you, he nods and immediately turns to his problem. No time for talking, I need to get going, but I lost my key and can't get this bloody thing open. Maybe you're picking the lock because you're a car thief. This is my car. I lost the door key. I have the ignition key, but not the door key. Am I getting through to you? Let me help you. The man gets up, puts his hands in his pockets, and lets you approach the door. I don't have any money to pay for you, but if you help me out, I'll tell everyone in my village what a good person you are. Okay, what the hell. Thanks to my high attention skill, you carefully study the lock, then the door, then the car. Then you notice something on the ground next to the door. There in the snow lies a tiny silvery object. It's the missing key. Oh, it's a key. I must have dropped it while I was going through my pockets. Okay. I don't have anything to give you, but here's a sweet roll. I was saving it for my wife, but just between you and me, that dog of a woman doesn't deserve it. You, on the other hand, look like a person who would appreciate a fine pastry. Indeed I do, my friend. Indeed I do. The happy driver hands you the sweet roll wrapped in old newspaper. It's pretty clear he won't be taking it back. It's better than nothing. Now I need to get moving. Ain't no time for idle talk. Well, you're welcome. It's another quest out of the way. Now, what I'm interested in is hearing this guy's side of the story. Apparently, this guy killed the other man's son. A swarthy man in his 30s greets you. He seems cautious at first, but visibly relaxes once he's had a good look at your face. I saw you talking to that poor guy outside. He must have told you about the accident. Go ahead, what can I do for you? Then tell me why'd you kill that man's son? The man's face darkens and he lowers his eyes before answering in a voice heavy with pain. I was in a rush to deliver my cargo and this boy was in the middle of the highway, staggering drunk. I honked my horn and he flipped me the bird. Then he made a gesture as to say, go ahead and run me down. I don't give... Yes, it's my fault. I should have slowed down, but instead I tried to swerve around him, scare him a little. Who would imagine he would jump right at my windshield? Perhaps he was too drunk to realise his little prank would be lethal. Or maybe he was doing it so he could blackmail me. I know people do that. His father claims he did it on purpose. I know, it hurts that he thinks that, it really does. I paid for the boy's funeral, tried to help the family a little. I begged the father's forgiveness. Because of course I feel responsible. Nothing has been the same since that day. He doesn't give a toss. He spent the money I gave him on booze and bomber gun. Now he hangs around the parking lot trying to extort more money from me. I just don't know what to do. I don't know, man. I mean, if the father has spent the money, then it is 100% his fault. He apologized to the dad. The dad didn't go to the cops. I mean, this guy's a scumbag. Absolute scumbag. But if the father was like, well, I guess I'll just take your money and go. He's got no... Like, if someone runs over my son in the street, you couldn't give me a briefcase full of diamonds would not be enough. You couldn't give me a mansion in the best part of town. There's only one way that someone who kills your kids, that story's going to end. I'd like to ask some questions. Let's hear your plan. Tonight, I'll give the sign to a chap I know who will tell the murderer that someone scratched his car. Then he and his pet monkey will come to find out what happened. Then we'll whack them together. You take the gear, money, whatever you can find. He asked for forgiveness, even paid for your son's funeral. You think he pays me off? Like the villain he is, I'm supposed to lick his boots now. The guy paid him off. Hell no, I'm not helping you. You don't want to help avenge my son. You deprived me of a new slave. You deprived me of a new slave? He what? Slave? Now I see why you didn't help me. No one ever told you if you kill a person, they'll be your slave forever in paradise. When I finally die... Yeah, this guy's insane. He doesn't even care about his son. Yeah, I mean, they're both scumbags. I'm not getting involved in this. So basically, I'm either he's talking insanity, or the boy that was killed was his slave. He had a slave kid. And he's just trying to extort money. I don't think anyone's a good guy out of this. So the last thing we're going to do is go and chat to the guards. And get out of here. You approach the city gates with two guards lazily aim their rifles at you. The man with the kind face addresses you without hostility. Thanks for your hospitality, or should I say the lack. All visitors are welcome the same way. Now tell us your name. I'm not telling you my real name. Traveller from far away. He's hoping Trudograd will leave you with nothing but pleasant memories. Business. What you trade in. This and that. Pay the toll and you can go in. Okay, what are we paying now? 100 rubles and you can go right through. That sounds pretty expensive. Yeah, I don't think I have any choice. You pay the extortionist. The ringleader salutes as he pockets your cash. Well, we're out of the outskirts and into Trudograd proper. So we've made it through the opening part of the outskirts of Trudograd, and we're going to leave it here because it has been a very, very long video, but I absolutely love this game. Even though it isn't as action-oriented as the first Atom, the atmosphere and just the general setup of the game being more of an adventure through a city rather than a barren wasteland, I've really enjoyed. Even though the pace is a bit slower, I certainly think this is a fantastic follow-up to the original Atom. My recommendation for people, if you are wanting to pick up this game, go and play the very first Atom first, or better yet, the developer is currently doing a sale on Atom and Trudograd. You can pick them both up for a very reasonable price. Like I'm saying, you will get at least 100 hours out of both games. I think they're very, very good value for money, and they are certainly the best game you can get if you're a fan of the original Fallout 1 and 2. There just simply isn't any other game I think that's even come close to those games except for Atom. Big fan of the developers and wanted to thank them very much for a chance to have a look at Trudograd. As I said, we will do a follow-up on this. I may do a stream where we can get through the entire Atom game, and then we'll do Trudograd next. So stay tuned if you want to see that. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, leave me a subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we check out another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.